So, hello, welcome everybody. Welcome. I can see we've got a good few people watching already. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed the harp. Just put that on a little bit earlier than usual, just so that we could kind of stream in with the sound at 8 o'clock. I've just seen a message from Madhu there, and I'm just going to respond to that. It is live, Madhu. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm just going to respond on text as well, just in case you can't. So, one moment, folks. Madhu's in India, I believe. Okay, so yeah, I think I've seen Christine, Lynn, Claire, Lewis, Madhu, Anne, and Madhu in India. So welcome, and I think there's probably some others as well. Good. So I'm glad you can hear, Madhu. That's great. I'm hoping also I've pronounced your name approximately correctly. Welcome everybody, wherever you are in the world, to the this live stream as part of the 28-day meditation invitation opportunity come challenge. Oh, and hello to Heather and Claire. I've also just seen come on. So good. So depending on when you started the 28-day meditation will depend on where you're at now, obviously. But for some, tomorrow will mark the end of week 2. For some, you might have only been going for just about a week, and some have been going for a bit longer than 2 weeks. It doesn't really matter. It's wherever you started, that's great. We'll carry on. There's been quite a bit of feedback I've seen in advance of the stream tonight. Good morning, good evening to you as well, Simon. And I think it's early afternoon in Los Angeles, California, to Heather and Lynn. So yeah, so I think I wanted to start by sharing some of the experiences and perhaps offering a little bit of insight on those, and then we'll see if there's anything else anybody wants to ask. So let me start with the first one that I got, which was from Andrea. Andrea can't join us tonight on the live stream, but is going to watch later. Hello to you, Jilly, as well. Great, I'm glad you can hear. A high noon. Perfect. I think somebody made a film by that name, didn't they, Heather? Anyway, Gary Cooper, I seem to remember it was. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to read out Andrea's experience. She's not on live, but we'll watch later. And she says this: I've just completed my first 7 days of the infinite silence meditation. I'm beginning to reconnect with myself and just beingness. During the meditations, I've experienced such stillness that at one point I wondered if I was still breathing. In fact, I was still, in capital letters, breathing. Such deepness and acceptance of just being. Hello to the intuitive observer and Lewis. Just going to comment on this thing about the breathing, because actually that came up at the monastery last weekend. You can go so deep with this meditation as you connect to your very essence that your breathing will slow right down. And it can almost seem like you're not breathing. But you know, this is a meditation, and that's all perfectly okay. It's actually quite perfectly normal, and it's a representation, a physical manifestation of the stillness that's taking place in your being. So just imagine how beneficial it is to you, not only in terms of your awareness, but also your physical well-being, this stillness. So the breath slowing down is a very, very natural part of this deep, deep, deep connection. So I just wanted to mention that bit. I'll get to your comments in a bit, Lewis. So also Andrea goes on to say some nice little messages or confirmations she's had during the meditations. So these are, as I understand it from the email, she's had words appearing to her, little messages from the silence. So one of those was infinite silence, another inner soul, a third one was immense spirit, fourth one was intense space, and the fifth one was inspiring subconscious. Do you notice how all these begin with is? And that represents the isness, the absolute isness of the self. It's just isness or infinite silence. These are just names for it. They're not it, they're references. So I like that Andrea was given these 5 ises, so to speak. And now the question she has, and I'll just pick up on that. She says, a question I'd like to ask for the transmission or here on the forum is, how can we use the time in infinite silence to remove mental blockages? For example, I need to send a letter out to a few people, but something is blocking me doing this, and I am unsure what this blockage is. And then I feel annoyed for being silly. Okay, so I actually responded briefly to Andrea on the forum on that, and I want to say a little bit more about it tonight. But the key for everybody listening, live stream 11, transmuting fear into love, addressed all of the issues connected with that question, and indeed any perceived issues or blockages, or whether it be mental, emotional, whatever, all of that. Livestream 11 is the go-to resource. Went through that in great depth there, and included a guided experience. But it really comes down to this, Andrea. Getting your attention merged in to and as the silence in the meditation, and then simply allowing whatever it is that is the perceived blockage, whether it be mental, emotional, or whatever, to be present and face it head on with no resistance, no fight, no flight, just allowing. And then simply the pure awareness of the presence of the silence, which is your divine essence, is going to do all the work in terms of transforming it for you. And all that needs to happen is just a pure witnessing, a pure allowing, a pure allowing. It's effortless grace is what I like to call it. And it really is that simple. So don't feel like I need to say anything more about that. Use Livestream 11 for anything and everything. Transmuting fear into love. Also, there's a page on the blog, on the website, that's called Transmuting Fear into Love. And that includes the video of Livestream 11 and also some additional pointers and insights in words, and also the Infinite Silence meditation video itself. So that page, you could argue, is probably one of the most important on the website. They're all important, but that kind of one that people struggle with most often is making the shift. It's all there on that page, and it's all covered in great detail on Livestream 11. So I feel like I need to look at what Lewis has just shared there, because I can see all sorts of comments coming up, and I'll come to the other experiences shortly. So just bear me a sec, folks. I'll just have a look. So still fighting against the feelings arising, trying to keep relaxing and reconnecting with the silence, finding I'm being a more relaxed person. Good. My daughter has mentioned how grateful she is that she's I am doing this course as she is enjoying being with me more. That's fantastic, Lewis. I'm delighted to hear that, both for you and for your daughter, and I have met, obviously, her as well. So that's really, really wonderful. The thing about fighting the feelings arising, this is part of, as I talk in live stream 11, this can be part of the flight response. There's a sort of programming, the conditioning that comes up in us is to either run from or fight the feelings, and neither of these are effective strategies in terms of allowing the shift to unfold. So the challenge from the headspace, ego space, so to speak, is just to allow it to be there, Lewis. To simply allow it to be there. Not fight against it, not flight against it. Feel it fully. Face it head on and trust that you are the silence, the absolute essence itself, and trust in only that. The feeling is a messenger. It's not your truth, but it is that which you are experiencing in the body. And so the pure witnessing, the pure allowing is what's going to allow it to transform. So I hope that's enough for you on that for now, Lewis. Do watch live stream 11 again. Yeah, I can see that you're not fully trusting yet, and that's okay. There's no judgment about this or anything. We are where we are, and there's definitely an important part about being gentle with ourselves and just allowing, and the things shifting in good time that's right for us. But trust in the absolute essence, and the more that you can allow yourself to do that, the easier it's going to get, and the faster it's going to shift. So trust is key, and then the trust becomes the highest form of trust. It becomes the knowing. So as far as I can see, Lewis, you're doing great. If your daughter's commented in the way that she has, and how pleased she is that you're doing this program, and how beneficial that she can see that in you, and therefore in terms of her time being with you, that is a fantastic pointer to how well you're doing. So you honor that, as others have said here. Beautiful. So I'm just going to see if I've missed anything whilst I've just been responding to Lewis there. Hope that's okay for you for now, Lewis. Anyway, it's all there on live stream 11. I'm going to, trust, and trust, and then trust a little bit more, and then trust some more still, and then keep on trusting in the silence, the absolute. It is the permanence. The watchword, trust. Okay, good. Let me move on. There's another one I want to share from Christine, who's on the stream, that she shared earlier, and she's been having some interesting insights that I'll just share. So quite a lot going on, she reports at the beginning. Ego is throwing everything at me, in inverted commas. Yeah, you keep at it, Lewis. So ego is throwing everything at me, in inverted commas now, or I guess itself. In particular, and most frequently, events or situations from the past, however long ago, is being presented. It's noticed as either as it's happening or not long after. Great, Christine. The fact that you're observing it as it's unfolding or shortly thereafter is an indication of the deepening of the awareness. The more instantaneous that's becoming, it means the more centered you are in and as the silence. So in the past, whilst it might have taken us, days, weeks, even months, or even years, now it's becoming a much more present moment thing for you. And this is great news because you can see it's arising, and you talk about this a little bit later. So for anybody else, if you are finding stuff coming up or things are triggering you, take it as an invitation, as I talk in length at Livestream 11, an invitation to release it. And the mere fact that it is noticed or observed as arising, this is a great indication, because if it can be seen arising, you can't be it. You can't be the arising. You must be the witness, and even before the witness of it. This is a very important awareness. So great that you're noticing it so quickly. Going on, so also she says that any event that was particularly painful is being presented and presented and presented. Each time its influence is being further diluted. So that's good. That is indeed good. It's in fact excellent. Excellent. Because what's happening is you're noticing the dilution. And yes, it's maybe cycling, coming in waves. Sometimes this can happen. And that's okay too. Sometimes it can all go in one big swoop. But quite frequently you may find it there's a bit more there, there's a little bit more. Ego will want you to get frustrated with that, but I say no, just accept the invitation, watch its dilution, and it will pass the more you trust and the more you witness, with no effort at all. The silence will sort it all out. The true essence will sort it all out. So the fact that you're observing the dilution again means that the one that's truly seeing that's who you are, the essence. You're not the dilution, but you can see it all happening. So this is fantastic. Christine goes on to say, there have been and continue to be some subtle yet profound shifts happening. Yeah, it can be like that. Subtle and profound sometimes. Sometimes, we want these bells and whistles experiences. But, they're not it. So subtle and profound alike. Because what that's showing me is an integration that's taking place in you, Christine. The shift is unfolding, and then, yeah. And there's a deep profoundness to that. So this is also a great awareness. That's not to say, by the way, that big shifts and that all the bells, they're okay. There's nothing wrong with them, but don't go chasing them. Just allow, and the shifts will happen. The surrender into the self is the ultimate allowing. It's the ultimate allowing, and as that reaches its ultimate, the allowing then just merges with the infinite itself, and the self is realized. It is so simple, yet we try to make it so hard, and it isn't. It isn't. Yeah, also Christine goes on to say here, also perceived obstacles are melting away. Insights are present too. Good. So, that which we perceive as obstacles when they're released, we realize that actually they were never an obstacle, they were just an invitation. And this is why looking at the apparent obstacle, the apparent issue, the apparent blockage, the apparent emotional energy, all of which feels very real, head on from the space of the silence is going to melt it all away. Just like that, just by the power of your awareness alone. I cannot overstate how important that is. Just the mere power of your awareness. No effort required. Just allow. And that's also natural that insights are coming, because the more you rest the attention in and as the silence, then there's a space, there's a spaciousness, there's an emptiness. But not empty as in of things. There's an emptiness which is also full with grace. And from that space, the insight will come. There's an Icelandic friend who created a group. He had it in Icelandic, the name, and I asked him what the translation was. And he thought I'd translated it, and I thought he translated it. Anyhow, it doesn't really matter which one of us translated it. But the group name he had for self-realization was One Empty Fullness. And that's what it's like. It's one, the oneness itself. We are that. Empty, as in empty of all the egoic conditioning. No baggage being carried. And fullness, as in the fullness of the absolute essence of the consciousness, the self-awareness energy, the grace, the light, the love, the peace, the grace, the truth. One empty fullness. From this essence, wisdom comes. And then the final bits for Christine. There's some good stuff in here, so I want to keep on going with Christine's thing. Yeah. Death keeps on making an appearance. In just one morning this week, a hearse passed me, and I passed 2 graveyards. Death of the ego. Last week I was following an empty hearse. Realization. There's nothing here. No thing here. And then I'll read the rest, because that's also connected. Having been a fan of Alice Cooper since age 10, I was watching a documentary about him, and he was in a mock graveyard, smashing the headstones. Ego being smashed to pieces. This realization was a very powerful one, representation of death of the ego once again. The realization came as I watched fear within rising on passing one of the graveyards, that yes, it is the ego that holds the fear, not I, because it represents its demise. Exactly. This goes back to what I was saying earlier in response to some of Christine's earlier insights. There was an you noticed in how she expressed that, there was an awareness of the fear arising. So if it can be seen arising, then you can't be the fear. Doesn't mean it's not felt. It just means you're not the fear. It means there's something higher, and that is ultimately the infinite itself, the infinite silence, the isness, the source. So all these pointers you're getting, Christine, are all confirmations of this dying off of the identification with the ego and its falseness. I think there was a reference to falseness in there, yeah. It was a mock graveyard. That which is unreal is dying. Ego. It may feel very real, but ultimately, in absolute terms, it's not. So these are great insights and experiences and confirmations you're getting. And you know, the big fear of ego is of its demise, of its death. You know, because it's been running the show, so to speak, or apparently running the show for so long. And as you drop identification, attachment, and belief in it, all the stuff that you've been talking about starts to emerge. And that's emerging because it's like you're being jet washed from within by the silence. All the kind of grime, so to speak, is coming up for release and transmutation. And the big fear, the kind of apparent block to the realization, is the ultimate letting go of the ego. Quite often, this fear, I'm not saying it has to be this way, it can drop in stages, but sometimes it can feel very, very strong in the body. But face it head on. Know that the infinite is infinitely more powerful than any fear. That way the miracle happens and the fear will transmute automatically as space opens up, and what's left is the silence. Actually, on this very thing connected with Christine's question and what I've just been sharing, a chap called Ben, who I don't think is on the... I'm going to come to those questions in a moment, Simon and the Intuitive Observer. Ben had a deep experience where I referred to it in responding to his question, call it On the Edge of Silence. And as the silence is getting very close to being touched and realized, this fear can come up quite strongly. Have a read of that post. It's called On the Edge of Silence. It's on both the forum and on the main part of the website if you go to the blog section. The question he asks and the response to it is profoundly important. It's a very important awareness to have, and I think particularly for you where you are right now, Christine, but also all of you, you can understand what's being shared there. There's a deep understanding, so it's a very important question that was asked, that one. On the Edge of Silence. Look on the blog or on the forum if you're on the forum. Okay, so right, Simon's asked a question here. I've got some other experiences to share, but I'll respond to Simon's question. Are dreams part of the ego or from the silence, or a bit of both? You're welcome, Christine, by the way. So are dreams part of the ego, from the silence, or a bit of both? Okay, so let's just look at the silence, the infinite, the absolute. In the absolute and as the absolute, there is no contrast, there is no experience in the way that we would normally expect in the physical domain. For experience, you need time, space, and the physical vehicle gives us the opportunity to experience. In the absolute, there is no such way of experience. There's just awareness. Self-awareness with a big S that's non-personal. So therefore dreams can't really be from that space, Simon. But what dreams are, Osho used to refer to dreams as your unlived life. But they're really an experience I would point to is they're actually often, very often, pointings to stuff in the subconscious, let's put it that way, that's there and that you're maybe not consciously aware of as an opportunity to release it. I once saw dreams referred to on 3 levels, and it's quite informative, these 3 levels. Level 1 dream is like you've had a stressful day at work, or a very stressful day generally, and then it's kind of relived in the dream state. That's like a level 1 dream. It hasn't been released, it hasn't been processed. Level 2 dreams go deeper into the subconscious, usually from a long time ago, childhood for instance, or experiences of some time ago where you're still hanging on to stuff. And what it's showing you is bringing to your conscious awareness stuff that needs to be released, and you can witness that in the dream space called lucid dreaming. But don't become it, and you can actually come into your conscious awareness as a result of the dream and just witness it, and it can pass. The dreams can be very informative. There's also what this guy referred to as a level 3 dream. I think he thinks it in Jungian language, from the collective. He calls it the collective unconscious. I would say the collective consciousness may be slightly more accurate, but anyway, it's something that's emerging from a much deeper level that doesn't involve any fear. Most dreams will involve some form of fear. There's some emotion attached to them. The level 3, however, isn't like that. It's a kind of a bringing up of an awareness from a much deeper level. Not quite the silence, but much deeper. It's using the vehicle of the dream to bring something to your awareness. As I say, the silence is absolute. And that's what you are. The energy that provides the apparent experiences is all coming from that same space as well. So does that answer your question, Simon? Hopefully it does. I'll move on and see if there's a response to that, of anything you want to add. So the intuitive observer, does a lack of confidence come from the ego or fear? Okay, so here's the thing. All fear is ego-based. All fear is ego-based. And the root of the fear and the root of ego is this. It's a case of mistaken identity. It's the identification, the attachment, and crucially, belief. And crucially, belief in anything that is less than the absolute truth of who you are. If there's some belief, even a small amount, in anything less than the absolute truth of who you are, then there's still some ego and there's still some fear. So ego and fear go hand in hand, and they come from this false premise of a belief in that which is less than the absolute truth of who we are, and the identification and attachment with that. Identification, attachment and belief all come in a package. They're all together, and that's why I say drop the belief, the false beliefs, and the identification and attachment will go as well. They will all go as one thing. So hopefully that answers your question, the intuitive observer. Loving the questions being asked, says Leah Tilda. Brilliant, Christine says. Yes, thank you very much. Simon's happy with that answer. Precognitive dreams. You're welcome, the intuitive observer. It's a pleasure and a joy to share, and I'm glad it speaks to you and resonates for you. So, quick question from Lynn. What about precognitive dreams? Good one. Okay, so something that's important to understand. We're so used to the idea of linear time. We kind of base our experience on past, present, future. Now, from the perspective of the absolute, the isness, the silence, it's all here now, all of it, and it's all witnessed, so to speak, or seen. It's just one massive field of experience, but even that is nothing in comparison to the infinite. It's all here now. So when what we call a precognition happens or emerges, whether it's in the dream state, even in waking consciousness, what's happening is it's like you're tuning into a radio station. All the frequencies of all the energetic imprints are all out there, and you've just focused in, okay, here's this radio station that gives me this piece of information about what in linear time we would call the future. This is quite feasible. And the reason that sometimes we get that information is it's to show us something. It's to point us at something. It may be that there's something to be listened to or avoided or steered clear of or whatever. But all of that information is here now. And it's all in the soup, if you like, of the energy field. But all of that is ultimately witnessed from the absolute, the source, the essence. And that has the ability to see any and all aspects of it. So it may come in the dream state or it may come in waking consciousness. But all of it is seen. The same with people can have insights about things that appear to be in the deep past. It makes no difference. Time, from the perspective of the absolute, is an illusion. It's all here now. It's like one gigantic hard disk with all the information of all the experiences there. Should stress, as I always do at my events, it's not about believing anything I'm saying here, by the way, because when the realization emerges, it's beyond belief. It becomes the experience, or the experiencing, more accurately. It becomes the knowing. But your heart, and the universal heart that your heart is connected to, knows this stuff already. And if you feel a resonance with that, then that's speaking, saying yes, yes, yes. So there's some follow-up questions here. Okay, so just one more question. How can I use the meditation to release a belief? That really goes back to what I was saying earlier, the intuitive observer. Live stream 11 is the one you want to be looking at there. So you have where you are, from the way you're expressing this, there's a conscious awareness now of a belief that's being held onto, identified with, and attached to. That's the way things happen with beliefs. So the key thing is to use the meditation, get into the meditative space that any of the meditations that I do, that are already there as part of the program or in live stream 11. And then as you're in that space, just allow that belief to be present with an openness to release it in the knowingness that we're presuming here now that it's a belief that no longer serves you. So what you need to be prepared to do is to face it head on, to look at it, feel it energetically, no matter how crap it may feel in the body vehicle, but know that that feeling isn't the ultimate truth, however it feels. Just witness, just watch, just trust and trust and trust. And as you do that, depending on your readiness, if you like, to release that, that will start to have less and less control of you. It may be that one meditation will get rid of a lot, or it may be that you need to just keep going for a while. It may be, sometimes it's like peeling an onion, and that's okay too. The process is the same irrespective. It's all about using the power of awareness, placing your trust there and only there, and then all that is not you, not truth, will automatically be transformed. No effort required. Hope that covers it for you, the intuitive observer. If you want to follow up on a question on that, do let me know. Lynn, what's she saying? Yeah, again, a simple and elegant answer, thank you. Yeah. It reminds me something, Lynn, that I once wrote down. Truth is simple. Ego is complicated. When it comes to aspects of ultimate truth, truth is simple. Ego is complicated. So if it's feeling complicated and it's then it's ego. If it's simple and elegant and freeing and light and uplifting, it's truth. This is a good test for you. Hi Debbie, I've just seen you come on. What's Debbie saying? I just wanted to report after last week I can see how quickly my ego and negative thoughts are quick to jump in and sabotage my higher purpose. Thoughts. I take it that's a question. Yeah, okay, Debbie. So, yeah, this is the way ego likes to function. It's like, if you like, we've been conditioned to putting it in the driving seat. And that's, that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. We've all gone through that. Pretty much all of us have gone through that in one way or another. But as our awareness shifts, we start to realize, actually, you know what? This isn't really my truth. So what's happening now is that you're, as I was saying to Christine earlier, you can see, you're starting to notice how quickly ego and egoic thinking is starting to try to take the driving seat. This is great news, Debbie, because the fact that, as I was saying to Christine, that you're observing it and seeing it means that there's a higher presence, a higher awareness that's able to carry out that function. Trust that one. And it's like I was saying, I remember Lynn resonated particularly with the windscreen wiper analogy. Thoughts like this. You don't watch the windscreen wipers. You keep your eyes on the road ahead. You can know that they're there. And just by that pure witnessing, it's going to have less control over you. Less control. The one then becomes in control is the self. You're placing your trust and attention in that space. So hopefully that answers your question or observation, Debbie. Intuitive Observer, thank you. Appreciate your time. I will rewatch the Stream 11 and take your advice. Yeah, good. Thank you for that. Do that. And if you have any further questions about it, feel free to share that on the next stream, or you can even pop a question on the contact form on the website or whatever. Whatever works for you, but do have a look at that with the pointings I've offered. What's Christine saying? Yes, it jumps all over the place in an attempt to distract. Yeah, absolutely. And often, the closer you're getting to an awareness shift, ego can get very noisy. So take these very noisy times as a good indication of not to trust what's going on with the noise. Trust the silence. You know, those, sometimes you see those things for charities where you put a coin, like a penny or something like that, and it goes like down a funnel before it drops into the collection box. And as it goes deeper and deeper into the funnel, it gets faster and faster as it goes round, and then the penny drops. Realization can be like that. You're getting closer and closer to the truth, and it's whizzing round. Ego's whizzing round, fighting, but the gravity, if you like, the gravitational pull of the silence is now so strong, the penny will drop. And the truth is realized, and what's left is the silence. Hope that analogy works without the actual visual of the little funnel. Spinning uncontrollably, yeah. So this is an ego function, Debbie, and it can certainly be very disconcerting in the body. But the mere fact that it can be reported as spinning uncontrollably, there's something higher observing that. So certainly the experience of the body is of that, and that's not very pleasant. Let's face it, it's not very pleasant. But the mere fact it's being observed means that you're not the one that is spinning uncontrollably. It's actually ego that's doing that. And this is the time to stop, to get into the silence, to look and to listen. I've used this analogy quite a few times, and I feel like sharing it again now. You know, in the UK at least, we're taught when crossing the road to stop, look, listen. I don't know how they teach it in other countries. To stop, to look, and to listen when you're crossing the road, learning to cross the road. Same with ego. When it starts getting noisy, stop. Trusting only the silence. Look, go into the silence, use the meditation. Observe the windscreen wipers doing this or spinning uncontrollably, but know that you're not the windscreen wipers or the uncontrollable spinning. And as you trust, and your trust is placed in the silence, and you're listening to the silence and becoming the silence, that effect in consciousness, the uncontrollable spinning, will stop and die down. And it will do so because now you're not putting any energy into it. You see, the more that you follow the train of thought, the more that you're putting energy into it, and it will take you to many stations, and none of them are your truth. The more that you just simply become the observer, and that you're having a laugh kind of thing, no energy's going into it, and it just settles down and the penny drops. Hope that covers it for you now, for now. Debbie, again, watch live stream 11. I keep on going on about it, but it is really important, folks. It's a really profound awareness. Detach from it, yes. Do not become it. You see, that's what we do. We become the emotion, we become the thought, we become the belief. You're none of those. You're none of them. Let it go. Observe, witness. Yeah, good. Okay, hopefully that's enough for now. I really do recommend watch that. There's a few other experiences I'm going to share, fairly brief ones, and then I think it's time for a meditation. We've been going quite a while already, but it feels like it's been good stuff, good questions, everybody, so thank you for that. Where are we up to? Yeah, I know that Leotilda, I think, is on stream. I saw her earlier and mentioned her. Yeah, I know that you've been experiencing some stuff coming up in the heart space. Ah, yeah, there you are. And I know that you're also using Livestream 11. It's quite common to get the energetic feelings in that physical area of the body, Leotilda. So again, the witnessing, the power of the awareness is what's going to allow that to shift, to take place. And the more that you can allow and the more that you can trust, the faster it's going to shift. Just wanted to confirm that for you. Joe, who I'm not sure if he's online or not, sent me a message to say this. I haven't got the full thing here, but basically her experience has been that this has been amongst the most beautiful things she has ever done for herself, which to me is just a great joy. And keep going, Joe, is what I say. It really is for you and the true you. So that is just wonderful. I'm delighted to hear that for you. Dee, who I know is running a meditation event herself this evening. Good, I'm glad to hear that, Leotilda, that you've released a lot today. Yeah, Dee has had some really profound experiences. On some of that's on the forum. Lee has as well, by the way, on the forum, which I've responded to. But one thing that Dee said, apart from the profound experiences, and I just wanted to comment on it here for everybody's benefit, something to understand here, that one thing she has noticed was there's an ease. She's noticing an ease in the clearing. So stuff is still coming up a little bit, but there's an ease in the clearing. And my response to that was that what that shows is that there's more and more trust in the silence, and the knowing is being placed in that source. And the deeper that trust is, there is a deeper ease in the clearing, because one is no longer identified, attached, and believing in it. There's a knowing now that's emerging that actually, yeah, you know, this may be here, but it's not my absolute truth. So this is fantastic news for Dee, and it's also great that she shared it, because you can use this as an indicator for yourself. But also the opposite of that is when it appears really challenging and, let's say, hard work. Then what this is showing you is that whether you're consciously aware of it or not, there's a kind of hanging on going on, an identification, an attachment and belief. You're hanging on, and ego does this, by the way. You know those, was it Roadrunner or something, those comedy, those sketches when we were kids, where, you know, you see the one hanging off the edge of the cliff by the fingertips. That's what ego will do. It will hang on off the edge of the cliff by its fingertips until it absolutely can't hang on any longer, and then lets go. So if it's the opposite end and it appears challenging, just smile at it from within, from the space of the silence, trusting the infinite silence only, and it will become easier. Trust again, trust, 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 trust. I think in the top right corner of the recording, it might be on the stream as well, there's a little information button, and I think I've put the link to live stream 11 there. I think I did that earlier today, I just remembered that. So I think you should be able to see that if you're watching it on the recording, or maybe even now if you hover your pointing device over it. And I seem to remember I also put a playlist of the two trust videos. One's called Trusting and Daring Not To, and the other one is called Trusting Yourself. They will be complimentary videos to live stream 11. That's why I did it. I've just remembered I did it. So trying to make life easy for you folks. Yeah, I know that Lynn's had some good insights as well that she's shared on the forum, and been clearing things that's made her laugh, so that's good. Thank you for sharing that, Lynn. And I know that Elizabeth, who's in Florida, she's had some profound shifts, and she also said to me the other day that from the meditation that she noticed her blood pressure is dropping in a good way, and I asked her what she felt that was, and she felt it was as a result of the stillness from the meditation, the deep peace that she's feeling. So that's great news. You know, for her it was that that's causing it, and that's great. You know, it can have physical effects. The more you let go, the more you trust in the essence, the more beautiful the experience is going to be. That's taken us an hour, folks, amazingly. I hope that's been useful for you all. Enough talking, enough talking. Let's have a meditation. I can stay here as long as we need. So yeah, let's have a meditation. So time to sit back, lie down, whatever it is you're gonna do. Relax. And simply close your eyes. And simply first become aware of your body. And as your attention rests on your body, just be open from your heart to the experience of spheres of light. Spheres of light. The pure, universal I am presence. It's an aliveness, the pure beingness, the state, the purest state, I am, that is universal and non-personal. And as your attention rests on this I amness, know now that it does so, because it too, this I am, is seen or witnessed from the deeper essence that is infinite silence. Simply allow your attention now to merge, melt into the silence like a luxuriating bath of silence, an ocean of silence, simply melting and letting everything else go now, just trusting totally the silence. Only the silence. Nothing else. Just this silence. No effort required. This silence you already are. Always have been. Always will be. And if there has been or is anything present in the body presenting to be released, just simply allow that to be there. Just allow it to be there. Be completely okay, but just knowing and trusting you are the silence. And if there is anything, an emotion, a thought, a feeling, a perceived block, just know that that's not the ultimate truth. You are the silence, just trusting totally and only the silence. If there's people involved, let them be there. Just simply rest and merge with the silence. Knowing that anything and everything is touched automatically by the silence. No effort required. all of it is embraced automatically. Without judgment. Touched by grace. Blessed. This eternal ocean of silence. Ever present and ever presence. Absolute stillness. Timeless. Formless. Eternity. Self. Here. Now. Here you are. Never have you not been here. Never have you not been this silence. Always will you be this. This body gives you the opportunity to experience this heaven on earth. The realization of the eternal, infinite self. The very silence. before form, before the I am is who you are. Beyond time, beyond space, beyond the beyond. Simply here. Such simplicity, such power in that. This rarefied atmosphere of silence. Is transformative. Abundant beyond measure. The creator of cosmic mysteries. And living from the heart is living in the mystery. All I truly know is silence. Here it is. The isness. Home is here. Nowhere to go. Nothing you have to do. You just are this already. So beautifully simple. So profoundly powerful. The universal solvent of silence. And you are it. No belief necessary. It's just here. Your natural perfume is peace. Grace. Love. Gratitude. Living truth. Totally devoted to the realization you are this. This is the true devotion. To the self, the infinite self, the oneness. So in a moment I will ring the singing bowl 3 times. And just keep your attention rested in and as the silence. And as you're aware of your body, the chair, the floor, or whatever, just know this, that your attention can rest in and as the silence always. It's a powerful choice that you have here. Trusting this will make a huge, indeed all of the difference. The trust becomes the knowing, not of things, but of the awareness of the self. I'll just put the harp on for perhaps a couple of minutes, but I will come back because I'm conscious that there may be some sharing, because it's been quite a full stream tonight, and there may be some sharing or things that people want to add or ask or share. So back in a mo. Okay, folks, so thank you, Lynn, for being here. Thank you, the Intuitive Observer, and thank you, Christine. But thank you to you all for committing to this program, whether you're watching live or whether you are watching this on the recording, wherever you are in the program. This commitment ultimately is to your self, the true self. And as you go through the rest of the program and commit to that, as you step towards, if you like, or open, perhaps more accurately, into this truth, it will greet you with open arms, for you are it. What's Lynn saying here? This session went deep, so much so that there are no words yet, only huge gratitude. Yeah, stay in that space, Lynn. I sense it, I see it. Just wanted to add something that came to me that I felt I would share after the meditation that's connected with all that's being shared tonight, but particularly with Christine's comments and questions around or observations around the death thing. One of the insights that emerged probably 4 or 5 years ago now, you're welcome, and by the way, you're welcome, was this: as the identification dropped, the words came from the silence. I know I've shared them before, but it's worth repeating endlessly. The words were this: life is death. Life is death. Now, this isn't the death of the body vehicle that is being referred to. It's the death of the identification with the ego. And as that dies, what is left but life? Let me just say that again. As that identification, attachment, and belief in the ego dies, what is left but life? And you, my friends, are life. Life is death, and you can also say death is life. Death of the identification, the attachment, and belief leaves life. Here you are. Life being lived. Just seen some, yes, thank you, Anne and Leotilda and Simon, fantastic, and thank you also, Gilly. Just leave this for a minute or two just to see if there's anything else somebody wants to share. Just know this: you are life itself, experiencing itself as itself. Never have you not been this. The beauty of this is truly beyond words. And guess what? You are this. What's Leotilda saying here? When I sat down for this session today, my stomach received a lot of energies, like problems with it that and do not have that. Could I be picked up from energies from someone here? Okay, this is a question that comes up quite a bit. You know, people talk about empathic type experiences and so forth. But the fact is that if there's something emerging in us, okay, thanks for that, Madhu. I didn't realise you lived in London. Sorry about that. Yeah, the fact is that if something is emerging and is felt energetically in you, then often a trigger can come from what appears to be an external source, but you can feel it only if there's a resonance with that of something in you that needs to be released. So this also is an invitation to let it go. You don't need to know what it is. So it's good that it's been released in the meditation. We carry so much energetic baggage. Sometimes we're not consciously aware of it. a situation emerges and it presents itself. So it's not the truth about you. So witness and it passes. You see, you are in control. The infinite is infinitely powerful. In fact, there's nothing more powerful than the infinite. And this is who you are. So trust only this. This way, then you're not controlled by situations, events, or other people. Certainly, people can have low and dense energies, but unless you make the choice to resonate with that, it's not going to affect you. Just trust that you are the silence itself. Hope that covers it for you, Letilda. So just looking up the comments. Yeah, thank you, Lewis. Crown piece from Simon. That's great news. And thank you for the confirmation, Madhu, that you live in London. I think I saw it on Facebook that you were in New Delhi. I think that's probably just where I was getting that from. But yeah, so wonderful that we have somebody in the south of England. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Continue with the program. Trust and give this meditation program your trust. For it is you that you are connecting with. It's reconnecting you with yourself, and only you can do this. The pointings I'm offering, the insight that's offering, ultimately it may appear to be coming across the stream, but actually there's a deeper communication going on here, and it's that one that's coming from within. There's a resonance. That is one that's speaking. What's Lewis adding? Getting a bit more intense in the meditation. Hit a bit of a sticking point last night with the tension arising and felt demotivated. Your support is great and so grateful for you here. Beautiful, Lewis. Okay, well, you're very welcome for the support, and let me know if you need any further help. Also know that the tension arising, as I've said earlier, is just an invitation to release it. And also, although the feeling of demotivation was there and no doubt felt very real for you, the one that was feeling that, the demotivated, isn't your truth. That's basically ego saying, don't go this way. And that's because it sees its days are numbered, the writings on the wall. So actually take this sense of demotivation as a sign of progress to be witnessed, and you will pass through it very quickly. Hope that helps you, Lewis. Yeah, love to all indeed. Thank you, Leotilda. I'll think what I'll do now is I'll put the harp on again. I'll just see, and if anybody does have anything urgent to comment, feel free to do so. And if there is, I'll come back. If not, I'll close the stream after a couple of minutes. Yeah, good, Lewis. I'm glad that you see the benefit in that insight. So yeah, I'll come back if there's anything anybody's desperate to share. But if not, I'll close the stream in a couple of minutes with the music. Bless you and thank you. And next, oh, sorry, before I go, next stream, next Friday, 2000 UK time again. So as part of the program, but all welcome, whether you're part of the program or not. Another piece of news, some of you may have seen, rather unexpectedly, I had one very short piece that I'd posted probably at least a couple of months ago now on an app that somebody recommended. I shared some material with. It's called Insight Timer. Pretty good app as far as I can see. Got lots of material on there. I've got a piece on there called Trusting and daring not to. It's been received very well, so I'm going to produce more material for the app. Probably a 10, 20 and 30 minute version of the Infinite Silence meditation. So watch this space. Finally, also back at the monastery in Manchester on the 11th of November, and on that date I'm going to integrate what is a worldwide meditation event, 11/11, as part of that day. So if you happen to be in the Manchester area, you want to join us, look on the events page of the website, find yourself at the monastery. So look out for the harp music. I'll come back, as I say, if there's anything urgent, but other than that, namaste and see you all soon.